Um, Obviously, interesting game at Indiana, I thought, from the standpoint that I was proud of our guys. Fell down, got up early. They made the run. Kind of the same story in that we have a drought from an offensive standpoint and fall down 10 at half, and then probably had as good a spurt as we've had offensively. We scored 12 of 14 possessions, I think, to open the half, and did some really good things. Did some good things defensively. A couple of our misses were really breakaway layups, transition off steals, but Juwan Morgan really kind of controlled the game from a defensive standpoint at the rim. I thought LaRon was terrific. It was kind of a tough shooting night for Trent. He got a couple clean looks early that didn't go down. He never really got back into to a rhythm, but and then we got a nice second half from Kip after really kind of being out of it. I think 2 fouls in 5 or 6 seconds in the first half. But we fought, we competed, and gave ourselves a chance to take the lead, and didn't quite get it done, and too many missed free throws, and really the ball, our ball security wasn't great. I think we had 8 balls ripped out of our hand. So something we've got to be better at. Nebraska's very good at that. And we get ready for a team that's fighting for their life, fighting for their NCAA tournament life. They've got a kid that's probably playing as well as anybody in the league, and Palmer. He hit the shot against us to beat us there, and has really kind of just taken off. I think he's one of the outstanding wing players in our league. And they're an experienced basketball team, and Watson at the point, and they go right on down the line, and with Jordy back in the middle. He didn't play in the first game. He's been very effective in the last 6, averaging 9 points, 5-6 rebounds, so that helps him on the glass. But very good Nebraska team.
Give us your little health update on your 2 guys.
Day to day with Mike, the protocol is one. I'll be honest, you just ask, can he go or can he not go? I mean, there's no real updates there. It's once you're cleared, and that's kind of the process. DeMonte did some light stuff yesterday, non-contact, coming back off his hyperextension, seemed to be okay, and we'll see how that goes today as he'll kind of work his way in a little bit today.
Is Michael available today?
Michael will be evaluated here before practice to see if he can. My guess is no. Usually I think the one thing in the protocol is they make you do some sort of physical workout to see how you react. So I would guess that we won't have him much today, if anything, but he will, I think, supposedly be evaluated, and if his symptoms are such, be able to move a little bit today.
What can you do in the short term, not recruiting your personnel, but what can you do to reduce the number of baskets people are getting at the rim, dunks, layups, point blank?
It's pick your poison. Either try to force turnovers and have your best post defense kind of be your perimeter defense, or you sit back and double team them and get in rotation constantly, and give up threes. And it's a challenge. It's we've got to do that by taking charges, by walling up inside better. We reach too often instead of forcing guys to make layups. But we're it's been a challenge all year. We know we're not. We've been inconsistent at times when our perimeter defense is real good, our post defense is good because you can't enter it, and that's our philosophy. But the drives and so on and so forth have really hurt us.
You made the defensive change last year at Oklahoma State. Did you ever hit a point where you considered that this year, and you're going away from maybe that extreme ball pressure?
We're not playing right now the way I want to play. I mean, we're in essence, what we do is pack line. From that standpoint, we had 6'10" in the middle last year that could guard and wall up. And our issues last year were completely different than this year. We were big and long and really athletic, and the Big 12 was a different animal in terms of the athleticism 1 through 4 that we see in the Big 10. We see a lot more size, and so it's a little different. But we've had some tendencies where sometimes when we've been very good with our ball pressure and our denials, but overall that's been something that's hindered us, and basically becomes a pack line type defense. And it's when you play pack, you have to rotate, and you get into rotations, and that's something that we try to avoid as much as we can.
Greg gave you some really active minutes early, still struggling with foul trouble. What are you seeing from him right now?
Gosh, he's been unbelievable at times. And we got 3 clean looks at layups early, and he didn't shoot them. And I don't know if those were nerves or confidence. He was active on the offensive glass. He was flying around. It's so needed. And the one thing with Greg is the silly fouls, the scouting report fouls, the knowing, you can't close out on a guy that's a driver and run by him and reach and grab, and those little things mount up. And he's still got a tendency to use his hands instead of his feet when guarding in the post. But he's been really good, and he grows every day. And when that becomes consistent, we need more consistent play from him. We'll have something pretty good.
Trent's been kind of off his game the last couple of games. Do you think he's pressing a little bit too much, trying to do too much all at once, or?
I think it's been a lot the defense. I think it's been, you've seen, there's no doubt Trent's at the top of the scouting report, and the way teams have played him, they've I think it has a lot more to do with that than anything else.
How have you felt about the minutes you've gotten recently from Tijon?
Tijon's been really good, both ends of the court, and he offensively, for a guy who has really struggled throughout the course of the year to shoot the basketball, he's found a way to score. And his speed, his effort with which he comes off what we call our 2-man game, and his cuts, he's figured out sprint and go really hard, and I can get a lot of layups. And if we could get everybody to do what he does, then we get a lot more layups and we get a lot more opportunities. But we made a big deal about it yesterday in film, about his success is just because he plays really hard and he cuts really hard, and he's been very, very good, and he's done it defensively as well. And he's probably our best off-ball defender in terms of denying and getting to help side and understanding the game. And he's been valuable there.
I kind of keep thinking back to I guess what turned out to be the second to last play before halftime against Indiana, Laurent's dunk. And is that a play maybe you want to put on loop to show the team, like, good dribble drive and Laurent cutting hard on the baseline and an easy bucket?
Yeah, and it's been something that we've been challenged by every year, or by all years. We don't have many dribble drive guys. Getting by a defender has been pretty limited to Trent, especially from other spots. And one of the things we've had problems with is we work on spacing every day, that was a great play because it was something we work on almost every day. Is you know, LeRon gets flat on the baseline, and we drive it. The defense steps up, you make that play, and that's the result. And but we've had difficulty getting by people and getting the ball to the paint. And you know, it's something we chart is number of opportunities in the paint and our efficiency, and there's sure not near enough of them. And but that was a heck of a play.
I'll ask you a question about Mark Smith, not about how he's playing, if you've answered that question, but when I look at him, it would be easy to say that's an unhappy kid. He looks unhappy, and maybe he's just unhappy with the way he's playing. Do you worry about that at all? What do you see from him and hear from him when you talk to him privately?
Oh, I don't see that. I think he's a guy with a lot of pride. I think he's a young man that comes in here every day and grabs a coach and wants to continue to work. And I think that there is maybe a certain level of frustration that you don't. That he's maybe not playing the way he thinks he should play, and so on and so forth. But that's okay. There's nothing wrong with every now and then hitting some adversity and learning how you have to deal with it, learning how you have to grow. And all my conversations with Mark are you become better when you have those moments, and you become better when you figure it out. And you know, it's been an adjustment. You know, the defensive end has been a big adjustment for him. Offensively, he's had moments, and you know, the game is hard. It's not easy, and it's you know, it's. But Mark, I don't see that from him. I see a kid who wants to be really, really good, and you know, you hit the bump in the road and kind of throws you off center a little bit, and you do everything you can to get back to center, and he's doing that, and you know, I appreciate that about Mark, and that the character piece with Mark will always allow him to get back to center.
Clearly, this is unfamiliar territory for you in your head coaching career, and anything can still happen. But outside of winning games, what objectives do you have as a staff for the rest of the season?
Growth, just grow. I don't know another word to use. We keep fighting for our culture. That's an old saying I keep using. It's about guys that. Keep their nose to the grindstone. We keep teaching. We keep demanding. We keep expecting. We're not changing. In terms of day one to now, it's the same principle. Whether we're winning games, I was in here at 6:45 this morning, watching film. We do what we do, and we can continue to communicate. We've got to continue to build the relationships, build the locker room, build the togetherness, build the camaraderie. All of those things allow you to win. Those things never stop, no matter whether you're winning games or losing games. And every single day, you know, what kind of leader would I be if I'm not an everyday guy and I've got it up in our locker room? And I challenge our staff with that every day. We keep, you know, whether it's get home at 2:30 from Bloomington and you're up and you're on the road recruiting, or you're in here with workouts and keeping our guys going, and that's the foundation that will build this program into the elite program we want it to be. So I try to be very, very consistent in my approach and the way I do everything, and yeah, it's, you know, it's not fun losing. I'm a bad loser, but I also take a lot more pride in being a disciplined, everyday guy, and not let that deter me. Results can be very, very hard to get, and at the highest level, everybody's got it. Everybody's got the facilities. Everybody's got good players, and I understand it becomes cyclical sometimes, and it's not easy. But when you're building, it's growth, and that's what we're striving for every single day, is to be better today than we were yesterday.
What's the worst thing about this? The schedule's nuts here at the end with 4 games in 8 days. Is it the home road, or is it that you finish in Rutgers, which is right in the backyard of where you're going to play in a few more days?